So now here we are, 9 seconds left. Gators first down, 37-yard line, left hash. Snap to Franks. Franks dropping back, stepping up, running the ball, looking. He's going to heave one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be caught. It's a touchdown, and the Gators have won the game. Tyreek Cleveland. Oh my! I can't believe what I just saw. The Gators have won the ball game on a bomb thrown by Felipe Franks, and this place is an insane asylum again. Oh my! Ball game. Gators have beaten Tennessee again.
This is Chris with Front Porch Football, where we take SEC football as serious as you do. Week 3 was an interesting week of college football throughout the country, and the SEC was no different. We'll start off the video with a rivalry game that was overshadowed in a lot of ways by other big-time matchups this weekend, but it did not disappoint. The Florida Gators and the Tennessee Volunteers are two mediocre football teams. They have pedestrian offenses, average defenses, and a lack of big-time playmakers on both sides of the ball. But what we saw this past Saturday were two middle-of-the-road football teams giving their all in a big-time rivalry game. When that happens, Hail Marys to win games are not that surprising. But I hope Florida fans don't confuse their team for a good one. Their defense has scored more touchdowns this season than their offense has. There are a lot of questions that still need to be answered, and McElwain and company need to go into Kentucky this weekend and win a big game if they are to convince me that this is a team capable of winning the East for a third straight year. How about those Vanderbilt Commodores? Can I get an anchor down from one of the 4 Vanderbilt fans I know? Just one anchor down. I love that. What a huge win over a highly ranked out-of-conference opponent. The Doors are now 3-0, even though they will probably get smacked by Alabama this upcoming weekend, and I'm really impressed with this Vanderbilt defense. They're playing at a high level, a level I didn't think they were capable of after losing Zach Cunningham last season, and I think it's about time to give Derek Mason the credit he deserves. It's still early in the season, but Vanderbilt looks to be, dare I say, a sleeper to win the SEC East. So hats off to you, Vanderbilt. Then there is LSU. What was that? The Bayou Bengals were torn apart by the SEC's best quarterback, Nick Fitzgerald. On top of that, their offense was stagnant throughout the game. An LSU 37-7 loss to Mississippi State is almost as rare as I can't think of anything right now, but that just proves how out of the blue this was. The West has been reshuffled, and Nick Fitzgerald may be holding the reins of the second best team in the SEC West. If Mississippi State's defense can continue to play at a high level, look out for the Bulldogs. Probably the most bizarre game this weekend was the South Carolina-Kentucky game in Williams-Brice Stadium. I seriously thought that South Carolina was going to win this game by a couple of scores. Obviously, I was wrong. Kentucky absolutely dominated this game, and they did it without their best defensive player in Jordan Jones. The scoreboard might not have shown it, but it didn't feel like the Gamecocks ever had a shot in this game, excluding those opening minutes of the game. To make things worse for Gamecock fans, Deebo Samuel fractured his ankle, which means he will miss anywhere from 5 weeks to the entire season. There's plenty of blame to go around for this loss, and first and foremost, I put some of this on quarterback Jake Bentley. Yes, he had a solid game statistically, but he was way too inaccurate at times. He missed a few huge plays down the field, one of which would have extended the drive into Kentucky territory late in the game on a third down. You can't miss a wide open receiver deep into Kentucky territory on third down if you're expecting to win big time games in the SEC. You just can't do that if you're going to take the next step in your maturation as a quarterback. That failed third down set up another field goal try, which was missed, shocker. So that was a huge play in the game. I think one of the biggest plays in the game was missing a third down deep into the second half. Which brings me to the second next blameworthy position group, which were the kickers. 3 missed field goals and a missed extra point. Not a mathematician, but if I add up those numbers correctly, those 4 missed kicks tie the game for South Carolina. That would have made it 23-23. So what a pitiful game for Gamecock special teams. Only bright spot was punting, which the Gamecocks had to do quite a bit of. So tough day for the kickers for South Carolina. There are so many other people that deserve some of the blame, including the offensive line, the ref for missing a blatant personal foul late in the game against Bentley, the running backs, the defensive line for not getting any pass rush going, and Kurt Roper for calling some of the most bonehead plays, especially in the second half, especially down the red zone. But the biggest serving of the blame pie has to be dished out to cornerback Jamarcus King. How is this man a starting quarterback in the SEC? Just once. All I need is one time, I promise. But just once, I want King to turn his head around when defending a receiver. Just once. I want to see King make a play on the ball instead of get torched by the opposing team or get called for a pass interference. Please do it, Jamarcus, for my sanity. Last but certainly not least, I want South Carolina to never have a blackout game ever again. All it did was fire Kentucky up, and Kentucky didn't need firing up. They have beaten the Gamecocks for now the 4th straight year, yet they were going in getting no love heading into this game. Maybe the reason is because they are Kentucky. Personally, I think it is ridiculous that South Carolina has lost 4 straight to Kentucky. The senior class has beaten Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Missouri, and Vanderbilt throughout their 4 years in Columbia, yet they've never beaten Kentucky. I don't even know why South Carolina fans tune into this game anymore. Next year, South Carolina could be 30-point favorites. I still wouldn't tune in. I mean, give me a break. It's freaking Kentucky. I'm not asking you to beat Alabama. Not asking you to beat Ohio State. I'm not even asking you to beat Florida. Can you beat Kentucky just once? I'm begging you. Not Bama, not Southern Cal. I'm asking you to beat lousy, stinking Kentucky. Please. That concludes this week's weekly wrap-up. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, please comment with your thoughts on Week 3. And we look forward to hearing from you for Week 4. Have a great one.